Welcome, everybody, to Tino's Time. And on this episode, we are going to preview and we're going to do a little bit of a recap of the MLB wildcard round and the divisional round. So first, let's recap everything that happened in a wild two games that was the wild card games. We saw the St. Louis Cardinals versus the Los Angeles Dodgers, and we saw one of the longest rivalries in MLB history, the Yankees versus the Red Sox. And the Yankees and Red Sox was the first game to take place, and it happened this past Tuesday. We saw Garrett Cole versus Nathan Eovaldi, and Nathan Eovaldi put on a show. He had a phenomenal game, people. He pitched 5 1/3 inning. He only gave up 1 run. He had 8 Ks, and he didn't have any walks. He looked like the Nathan Eovaldi that was in the playoffs a few years ago when the Boston Red Sox won their title. If he shows up like this, the Tampa Bay Rays better watch out. He had a phenomenal game. It was awesome. Xander Bogaerts, he started the scoring off. He had a 2-run bomb off of Garrett Cole, and that was the rest. That was the game, honestly, people, because the Yankees had a few opportunities where they had a runner thrown out at home, and that seemed to turn the whole game around, and the Yankees could never recover. We saw Anthony Rizzo and Giancarlo Stanton hit a home run, and that was the Yankees scoring. The Yankees ended up losing 6-2, and the Boston Red Sox moved on to go face the first seed in the American League, the Tampa Bay Rays, and that series starts tonight. That's going to be awesome. But now it's the other wild card game, and it was the Los Angeles Dodgers versus the St. Louis Cardinals. We saw Adam Wainwright versus Max Scherzer. And to be honest, people, this game felt like it dragged. This game was on forever, it felt like. It was a 1-1 game, and don't get me wrong, I love pitching duels, but my God, I wish there was a little bit more scoring. But at the end of the game, it started getting more exciting, and we saw the Cardinals have some opportunities. We saw the Dodgers have some opportunities. We saw, it was a really good pitching duel. But Justin Turner tied the game after the St. Louis Cardinals got 1 run in the bottom of the first after a sacrifice and a little base hit and a little ball here and there, and they got a 1 run. And it was 1 run until the bottom of the 9th when Chris Taylor comes up, and Chris Taylor made one of the best moments that if the Dodgers do go far into the playoffs, this is going to be one that they are never going to forget. Chris Taylor comes up and he hits a two-run bomb for the walk-off, and he moves the Dodgers on to the National League Divisional Round Series to face the rival and the team that beat them for the division, the San Francisco Giants. And that divisional round, it's all set, it's all ready to go. We're down to the Elite 8 after 2 amazing wild card games that we saw. Yeah, the Yankees Red Sox was a little bit more exciting and it seemed a little bit move faster, but hey, nothing wrong with a pitching duel. But now that I talked to you about the wild card and we talked about who's moving on, let's preview the divisional round. And, we just talked about it. The Tampa Bay Rays were the first seed for the American League. And for the National League, it was the San Francisco Giants. And now, so they get to play the 2 wild card winners, and they get the opportunity to play the team that was the worst in the conference. And yeah, so just in case you didn't know that, that's how that works. The other game, though, in the National League I want to talk about real quick before we go to the American League, it's the Atlanta Braves versus the Milwaukee Brewers. In Game 1, we're going to see Charlie Morton versus Corbin Burns, and in Game 2, we are going to see Max Fried versus Brandon Woodruff. And these 2 games, it could go to 5 games. I'm going to give you my predictions in a second, but I just wanted to give you the pitching probables for the first 2 games because, as you know, if you do watch baseball, the pitcher or the coaches don't want to name the starters for Game 3 or 4 because they want to see how the games go. So no team has announced any game starters for Game 3 or 4 because they don't know how far it's going to go. But in the Braves-Brewers series, I am going to take the Atlanta Braves to win. I think the Atlanta Braves have the pitching. They have the hitting with the way Freddie Freeman's been playing. Ozzy Albies, Ronald Acuna has been out for a while. They went out and got Jorge Soler at the trade deadline. They have had a really good run, and I think it's going to continue. The Milwaukee Brewers are also a really good team. They ran away with the National League Central. It was awesome. And these two pitching duels are going to be awesome. But like I said, I'm going to take the Atlanta Braves to win the series. And I'm going to say they're going to win it in 4. I think they're going to win it 3-1. I think the Brewers will win one game. But then the Brewers will win one game. And then the Braves will win 3. And they will move on to the NLCS. So that's who I'm taking in the first National League Series. In the other National League Series, it's the Giants and Dodgers. We just talked about it. They're the only pitcher that has been announced because the Dodgers just did win last night. It's Webb from the Giants. There has not been any pitching matchups fully announced that I have not seen. So maybe if you have, put them in the comments. Let me know because I haven't seen anything. I tried to look it up, but it still says to be announced. And, this Giants-Dodgers series, I'm saying it's going all 5. These two beat the crap out of each other all season long, and it's going to continue in the playoffs. And after the dust settles and after the teams beat the crap out of each other, I'm going to take the Los Angeles Dodgers to win. Not hating on the San Francisco Giants. They went out and got Chris Bryant. They've had a really good season. Manager of the year, Gabe Kapler. He deserves it. The Giants had such a phenomenal season, but the way the Dodgers won yesterday and the way they won off of that walk-off from Chris Taylor, and if a team gets a momentum like that, the Dodgers are so good. So good. Yes, they aren't going to have Clayton Kershaw for the rest of the season. I don't know if you saw, but Max Mundy had a really horrible injury to his arm, and he seems to be out. Hopefully, he will be ready to go, maybe by the NLCS if they make it that far. But I am going to take the Dodgers because the Dodgers just have so much depth. They have Albert Pujols, Cody Bellinger, Justin Turner. They just got so many guys, and like I said, it's going to be a great series. But after the dust settles, I'm taking the Dodgers in 5. So for my NLCS, I have the Braves versus the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, let's talk about the American League. The first series I want to talk about for the American League, it's the Tampa Bay Rays versus the Boston Red Sox. We just talked about Nathan Eovaldi. He had that phenomenal game and pitched 5 1/3, and now the Red Sox get to bring that momentum back to Tampa Bay. They fought Tampa Bay all season long. They're in the same division, just like the Giants and I almost said Niners. I'm thinking of football. Just like the Giants and Dodgers, and it just those two teams in each conference in each division just beat the crap out of each other all season long. With the Rays and Red Sox though, in Game 1 it's going to be Eduardo Rodriguez versus Shane McClanahan, and in Game 2 it's going to be Chris Sale versus Baez for the Tampa Bay Rays. Chris Sale is coming back. We haven't seen much of Chris Sale. He's been he had the Tommy John surgery. He's been in and out, and he has had some good games since he's come back. I hope he can keep that arm going because the Red Sox really need him. But in the Red Sox-Rays series, I think the Tampa Bay Rays are going to win. The Rays won 100 games. They're doing their thing. They've got Nelson Cruz. They got such good pitching staff. And, those two guys, you might be saying, Shane and Baez, who are they? And, they don't got the big-name pitchers like the White Sox or the Astros or the Red Sox in the American League, but they got these guys that are just always really, really good. And the Rays have always been a team that have always been just like, no matter who they have or no matter where they find these guys, they feel like they find them on the street. They're just always really good. And I think the Tampa Bay Rays are just going to continue to do that. We talked about Randy Arizona in one of my other podcasts. I have him for Rookie of the Year. I just think the Tampa Bay Rays, and I think, this is going to be another series I'm going to take 5. I think the Rays are going to go they're going to take the Red Sox to 5, and I think the Tampa Bay Rays will come out and win that series, though. But I want to take a second and talk about this last series because, everybody, I'm not going to be too biased on the show, and, I don't try to root for the teams that I love, but this is something that I have to do because if you know me, you know that I've watched every White Sox game. I've been doing this since I was little. I've always been a diehard Chicago White Sox fan. I watch every game on my phone, do my thing. I watch it. I go to the games. I've always loved Chicago White Sox baseball. And, for the first time, yes, they made it last year. They made the playoffs last year, but this is the first time in 13 long years the Chicago White Sox have made the playoffs. And the last time they did was in 2008. I was 12, and then when they won the World Series, I was about 9 or 10. And it's just one of those things, as big of as a White Sox fan as I am, if you could obviously see with my hat and my shirt, curses don't win. Don't blame curses or goats, just win. That's what my shirt says. But it's just one of those things that I just want to take a moment because I want to cherish this so much. I love the Chicago White Sox. The season that they had is phenomenal. And if you do know me, this means more to me than anything because I recently lost my grandpa and everything. And he was a huge White Sox fan. And my dad's been a huge White Sox fan. So, yeah. So, anyway, I just wanted to say that and take a moment so everybody could realize, like, just why it does mean so much to me and why I always talk about the White Sox a little bit here and there, and I bring it up just because it does mean so much to me about this team and this city and everything. And the season that they have has been absolutely phenomenal. They went 93-69. They had a phenomenal season. They went through awful injuries. Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert, he's on the north side now. Nick Madrigal. They lost Yasmani to a knee injury for a while. Tim's had hamstring problems. Lance Lynn has had injuries. Everybody on the team seems to have injuries. And they go out and they get Billy Hamilton, Brian Goodwin. They go out and get, Zach Collins came up. He wasn't very productive. We saw 2 months of the Yerminator. If you don't remember, 2 months ago, we saw the Yerminator come up and have a phenomenal few months and help the White Sox while Eloy was out. And then we saw Luis Robert, like I just mentioned. He hurt his hip flexor and he was out until late August. And it was a crazy season for Chicago White Sox fans. And now they are here in the playoffs, like I said, for the first time in 13 long years, people. I am so excited. They're so ecstatic. But now they get to go and face the trash can banging World Series champs, not they think that they are. Go up to Houston. The last time the White Sox won the championship, they celebrated on that field. And now they get to go play the Astros to see what they can do if they can make 2021 as special as 2005 was. But the Astros are a really good team. They have Lance McCullers. Dusty Baker is one of the best managers. He's going to be going in the Hall of Fame. Carlos Correa has had a good season. Jose Altuve is a beast. They just have so many weapons, and the White Sox got demolished in the regular season by them. They lost the series 5-2 or 2-5. They lost it. They only won 2 games at home. They won 2 out of 3 at Guaranteed Rate Field, but they got swept in 4 games in Houston, and everyone's freaking out and everything. But as not even a White Sox fan, just a baseball fan in general, you have to remember who was playing in that game. Yermin Mercedes, we talked about. Jake Lamb, Sebi Zavala. There were so many guys. The Sox didn't have Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert, Craig Kimbrell, Liam Hendricks, Ryan Tepera. There was about 7 or 8 guys that the White Sox just did not have in the series versus Houston during the regular season. And I think that this series is going to be so much better. Now the White Sox are healthy, and the Houston Astros are the team that they are. So in the first game we get to see today, it's going to be Lance Lynn versus Lance McCullers Jr. And then tomorrow in Game 2, we're going to see Giolito versus Valdez. And Valdez, I'm sorry, not Vasquez. Valdez, I'm sorry. But we're going to see those two in game 1 and 2. And then for Game 3 for the White Sox, I think it's probably going to be Dylan Cease. I'm not too sure who the Houston Astros would have go in Game 3 because I really haven't watched like every single game for them. But Lance McCullers and Valdez are two of the good pitchers that the Astros do have. And it's going to be a very huge test for the Chicago White Sox. But after this series and after everything happens, I'm going to take the Chicago White Sox in 4. I think that they have so much power. The pitching staff is healthy. The bullpen is unstoppable. And if they could just play the way that they've been playing, especially of late, and I know that they were in the worst division, and you could say they played the Twins and Royals and Indians, and, these are the big boys. But, you have to remember that the Sox weren't healthy. The Sox didn't have their full team. And now that they do, I don't know. I hope that they win, and I think that's what's going to happen. I just think it's going to be definitely a better series, and I think the White Sox can come out on top. So that's why I'm taking them to win the series in 4. So I'm taking the Chicago White Sox to win the series in 4 and the Tampa Bay Rays to win it in 5. So I think that it's going to be the Tampa Bay Rays versus the Chicago White Sox in the ALCS, and like I said in the NLCS, it's going to be the Dodgers and Braves. So there you have it. I've given you my predictions for the divisional round. We recapped the wild card round. The divisional round is probably going to go if any games do go to Game 5, it will go until next Tuesday, and I think that the championship series will start around next Thursday or Friday. So I hope everybody enjoys the divisional round. Let's go White Sox. I hope everybody else's teams do good, but we're coming for you. And until we recap the divisional round, and I preview the championship series the next week. This is your boy Tino, signing out.